Good day, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. So once again, this is yours truly, Jeff Caceres, also known as Nomad Fury, and we're back once again for another episode of the Nomads podcast. So our special guest for today, of course, coming from the Carbon12 team. So first things first, we have the co-founders. So we have Luke Ritchie and Jennifer Ritchie, and our marketing director, Mr. Sunny Gonzalez. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right. And also, I would like to say hello to all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning in to our podcast right now. So we will be learning more coming from the development team of Carbon12, regarding their concept and their mission as well. All right. So, guys, are we all set?
Yes. Let's do it.
Go.
Okay. Here's the thing. Before you guys have involved yourselves in creating and developing Carbon12, could you share how you guys got involved in the crypto industry and what made you guys to pursue this? So who wants to go first?
I can start with our end, and then we'll pitch it off to Sunny. So Luke and I are original founders of Gravity Jack, which is an augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality company that was founded in 2009. We had a previous software company that was acquired for that. And throughout that process, it's just the evolution of technologies where, you're going through these new techs with AR, VR, and then of course, Web3 and crypto and blockchain comes onto the field. I've done a couple speaking events on early on educating of blockchain, what it is, how can we incorporate it into our world and how it's going to evolve. So I think that deep immersion into the tech space at large, we had an early project with, crypto a while back. So, we've been involved in different components and pieces of it until we've gotten to, hit with Carbon12 from the Lord. So that's kind of more our high level background.
Yeah. And then for me, I've been helping, companies grow and budgeting, $1 million budgets for the past 10 years. However, in 2020, I lost my job. So, I just fell flat on my face, and I had to lean into God, right? And then God led me into crypto because I was starting to figure out that there was a new way to invest, and I had some extra money on the sidelines to invest. And in doing so, I was able to go a little deeper into crypto, right? There's a lot of different things that are going on around the blockchain space. So, it led me to learn more about it, gaming. I did some trading, some DeFi, and then just really got involved and committed to learning as much as I could about crypto. In the past few years, I've been working with other blockchain companies, and then God led me to this project. So I'm just feeling really blessed to be here.
What about you, Luke?
Oh, well, Jennifer kind of answered for us. I mean, I was definitely a part of some of those early projects because Gravity Jack is always doing R&D. We've always been cutting edge. It was just kind of natural, and we get very used to evangelizing things because in 2009, people didn't even know the word augmented reality. We were writing patents for it. So we're often called on to evangelize new technology that nobody's even understanding yet. And that's why we were speaking at different blockchain conferences in 2011, very early stuff. But yeah, I've always seen it as a game changer, specifically blockchain.
All right. So at least we've learned from you guys on how you got introduced and got involved in the crypto and blockchain space before you are inspired in creating and developing Carbon12. So guys, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And, speaking of the Carbon12, so what inspired you guys in creating and developing this project, for the Christians?
It's going to be a pretty interesting answer to that question. We had a born again experience. I was describing that a little earlier, and that was in March of 2019, exactly a year before the first lockdown. that occurred in the United States for COVID. And during that year, God just took us through a bunch of things. And when COVID happened, a lot of people, or the response to COVID happened, a lot of people saw kind of, okay, we might be closer to some of these end time prophecies than we thought. And so we just started praying, and that born again experience that happened with Jennifer and I happened throughout our family. We had like a mini revival over the course of a year in our family and close members, and we would be together worshiping. And so we were already worshiping as a family and getting together and reading the Bible and the Word before COVID. And so about 2 weeks into it, one of our nieces said, what was God's purpose for waking our family up like this? And so we just started praying on that specific question. And believe it or not, everything you'll read in every single one of the white papers was delivered in dreams and visions, including the mathematics, the algorithms, everything. When our patents become public, everything you read in those was in two dreams. And then we just spent months writing the dreams down into the white papers and the scriptures that were associated with them. So the inspiration is directly from the Holy Spirit. And he said, go do this. And we were just all wild and crazy enough to say, okay.
Stepping into obedience.
Yep.
All right. So thank you so much, Luke, for sharing to us on what inspired you guys in creating and developing Carbon12. All right. Now, for my next question, what is currently the mission and vision of Carbon12?
It's multifold. So we have everything kind of starts around this principle of we want to spread the gospel and we want to spread testimony across the planet and in a big way. And we also believe that that's going to be censored here shortly and that it's not going to be easy to do. Like in some countries, that's already occurring. So if you look at the projects that support Carbon12, they kind of fall into these categories of we want to ensure that, one, we can transmit it, and that's covered by Gridiron. So regardless of what they do in terms of censorship, we can still transmit the gospel and testimony. And then two, we want to be able to store it immutably. So again, even if they say delete this or we don't like this, that it can't be taken down. And then as a byproduct of that, we believe that there's a time coming when we won't be able to interact with the world's economic system. And because of these transmission and storage mechanisms that we're already building, that actually creates the same mechanism to do commerce with each other. So, Carbon12 is a natural result of this desire to still be able to buy food and specifically, in short, it's to transmit and store the gospel and commerce with one another. And really, as we start to do that, it creates unity in the body between Roman Catholics, Baptists, Presbyterians. And we just harness the power of 2.3 billion people on the planet that say, hey, we believe in Jesus Christ.
Okay, so thank you so much, Luke, for sharing to us the interesting mission and vision of Carbon12. Now, for my next question, this is something that most of you right here who are watching us right now is something that you really need to know regarding Carbon12. Now, guys, could you explain how your project works for Christian crypto enthusiasts like me and the rest who are watching us right now? Like your features, use cases, benefits, advantages, tokenomics, and so on?
I'd love to take a first stab at a very high level and pitch it off to both Sunny and Luke to fill in some gaps. It's just being a part of this entire project and process and watching what the Lord has done and the way he has unfolded all of these components it can only be him. It is so big. It is so intricate. And the way some of these so beautifully weave together, it's just like leaves you covered in goosebumps, just going, wow. Right when you think you're just like, God is so big, he just keeps getting bigger, but yet puts it in a way that speaks to all of us believers. I mean, especially coming on the heels of the response to COVID and being able to commerce and some people's, crypto in Canada being shut down and pastors not being able to preach from the word. I mean, it's just like, what? Yeah, I often am like, I can't believe this is happening. And my husband will be like, why are you always so shocked? And I'm like, because it's a lot. So specifically going on how Carbon12 works for Christian and crypto enthusiasts, that watching the unfold in the use cases where Carbon12 isn't just a token sitting out there. Let's just buy it and start selling. It's so where it starts out with testimonies in hologram that, again, we'll unpack on what those are, the use cases there, needing wallets, into later on with Gridiron. So I'm just saying from the top down, the way that the Lord has woven Carbon12 is just a beautiful thing. But use cases, benefits, the tokenomics, I'd pitch off to the gentleman just because they're more in the thick of the weeds on those. But keep that in mind as you hear what they stepped into here.
Yeah. And I'll go next with the tokenomics. This was put on my heart to address when I came on. When I was asking them questions, I like to ask a ton of questions when I'm learning about anything. When I did research in the crypto space, I was constantly learning, devoted my whole professional life to studying books, studying videos. What does everything mean? And I knew how important tokenomics was when you're researching on a project, right? When you're investing, what are the things that you're looking at? Well, you're looking first and foremost, are the founders, are they transparent? Do you see them on the page? Do you know who they are? Are they anonymous, right? So the co-founders here are coming forth, they're giving their testimony, they're giving their bio, check. And then the next thing was the transparency behind the tokenomics, right? That's how people understand a project, whether it's going to bring them a return or not. Now, we're not in it for a return. We're here to help expand the kingdom and reach 1 billion souls. However, investors are savvy and they want to know the tokenomics. So behind that, what I did is I did a lot of research on projects that were successful. What do they do in their tokenomics? And I went to AVAX first. So we're launching on Avalanche, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But their tokenomics was laid out beautifully. And you look at their returns and what they've been able to do for their communities, which is grow the value of the token. So we set aside some for the Kingdom Fund, which you'll see on there. We have the document on our page, and we'll shout that out later. But if you go on there, you see the Kingdom Fund, right? 20% is going to expanding the kingdom. That's charities, building up churches. And then you get into the next stage, the next allocation, which is tokenomics. So 35% of the total supply staking rewards. So 35% of the staking rewards is going to go back to the community over time. So over the next few decades. So the concept behind it is slowly drip and release our tokens into the ecosystem so that people can consume it. People can start using it through the use cases, which Luke is going to get into later. And then we also, what was important to us is putting aside a percentage for strategic partnerships. We just launched the Genesis Fund, which is going to help fund and give grants to faith-based projects. And then we have some for airdrops. So we have a percentage for bounties and other strategic partners. We're going to partner with churches. So we have an allocation for that as well. So those are the main parts of the tokenomics, but we're also going to provide 1% liquidity, which is really cool. So on 12/7, after we launch, there's actually going to be live trading available because we are going to put forth 1% in liquidity, so that people that have been earning it through airdrops and bounties from now until 12/7 are able to start trading with it. But everything can be found on the website. If you want to go a little bit deeper, it's all there. It's all transparent. And then we're going to convert all that information into smart contracts.
All right. So at least we've learned from you guys on how Carbon12 works for the Christian crypto enthusiast around the world, especially, the tokenomics that you have mentioned, Sunny. So, speaking of the tokenomics, I just heard that you said that your token is under Avalanche, correct? Or what we call the AVAX?
Yeah, we are under Avalanche. However, hey, Luke, did you want to talk to him about the use cases?
Yeah,
How
sure.
to get people,
Please do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first words that we received in the dream was testimony begins it. And in the first dream, we really didn't understand what that meant. But hologram is one of the first use cases that we'll be launching with. And it's a very unique way to record volumetric video with just a regular cell phone. And combines with artificial intelligence to fill in the blanks for where. So it's essentially we're adding deepfake technology with volumetric capture. And you can imagine recording TikTok, but now you could watch it in augmented reality. So you could drop a pastor or a person in your living room. And with the augmented reality glasses that we happen to know are coming very quickly for home use, that's just, we might be one of the first people with actually content, and that content's going to be faith-based content. So we feel like we can really draw the lost. And if you watch the power of testimony and what Jesus does, he always looks the same. And the story always ends the same with joy, peace, love. especially when the spirits and the fruit is in that person. And that's one of the first use cases for Carbon12 is actually utilized inside the hologram app. The other thing right now, and this is like immediate, if anybody's listening and they own a Christian website or they have an idea for a Web3 faith-based something, we have, like Sunny mentioned, our grant program. We don't see anything as competitive. We have no profit motive. So everything we're doing and everything we're designing in the tokenomics is not about filling the founders' pockets. It's literally about building the kingdom. So even if you're on our Discord, you'll see projects that might look competitive to what we're doing, but the only person we feel we're competing with is the enemy, and that's for souls. If something's happening to actually drive towards the goals of unifying the body and pulling people into the kingdom of Jesus, then we're with them. And we want to aid and abet, essentially. So partnerships are a big thing. And so in that, as we were adding some of these partners, we realized there's just this strong need for a wallet that will be able to be used by people that are not as web savvy as some of the people in Web3 now. And so that's one of the things we're working on. And we have a number of partner websites. So when it launches, not only will you be able to actually, convert to your whatever fiat you want, if that's your thing, you'll also actually be able to use it with a bunch of Christian websites, donate it at some churches, and some actually, we want to start building this as this mechanism for commerce. And then the tertiary use case is longer term, but that's Gridiron. And that's essentially as this augmented reality and metaverse world kind of comes to fruition, the devices that you have to wear right now are too large. And so to lower the compute needs, it's an ecosystem to essentially grab dormant compute power off devices that are just around you. And that mechanism is Carbon12. But what we end up with in that scenario is this peer-to-peer network that works much like FireChat did. Even when they shut down the internet and cell towers, the devices can still communicate. So that is a pure secular play. There's no faith-based element to it other than that it uses Carbon12. So as Carbon12 is used, we're pulling a small percentage off that's going towards the Kingdom Fund. And full allocation of Kingdom Fund, we haven't. It's a board decision. We're creating a DAO also to help control that. But what we really we envision what happens if 2.3 billion people combine their wealth. We could be doing free loans for churches. We could be building churches. I mean, the wealth of Christians across the planet is it's so giant. Some churches are paying 17% to receive tithes. What if we could just eliminate that? That even 3% to a church, if we eliminate just their credit card processing fees, is immense. So that's kind of some of the use cases. Just right off the bat, we'll have plugins for websites, some various partners that we'll be launching with, and then a number of dApps. If you join our Discord, you can see some of the dApps that are already approved, and they'll be using Carbon12. We've got a Metaverse project, a really awesome Bible study tool, and the wallet system that we're kind of ripping the wallet that was going to be in hologram and making it its own entity, because the faith-based believers need it, like something simple. I know that's a very long-winded answer.
And the recap of just those titles of the use cases, we have Signet, which is that wallet piece, Hologram, which is that testimony app piece, and then Gridiron, which is that peer-to-peer share.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it. All right. So thank you so much for sharing about the use cases. And going back to what I've said, about using the Avalanche blockchain. In my question, guys, why did you choose that blockchain? Despite that we have lots of blockchains such as Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Matic, Solana, and so on. So, guys, could you explain why did you choose Avalanche blockchain for this?
Yeah. So when we were looking at different blockchains, we were looking at the tech behind it, right? And in particular, Avalanche. So all the dApps that are on Ethereum are cross-compatible with Avalanche. So Avalanche is essentially a very, very similar type of technology, right? It's a fork of Ethereum. Now, with that, but you don't get the prices, the transaction costs that you get with Ethereum. So it's far cheaper, it's far faster, and it's secure. So it's just essentially Ethereum 2.0 is how folks should think about it. But not only that, they're ambitious, and they have this technology called the subnet. So we can, down the road, we can actually create our own subnet and have a team or groups, entities, businesses, traders, what have you, trading amongst each other. And we can create our own smart contracts that allow folks to either come in and out. So it could be secure, kind of go into that mark of the beast type theme, right? How are we going to transact? What if we're not able to? What if the world decides that they don't want to learn about the gospel anymore? So we're protected within these subnets. So we're thinking, down the road. But outside of that, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no,
I was just going to say that was one of the key elements, is that subnet piece, because there's coming a time when what if the Treasury Department says, hey, we're sanctioning Carbon12? They just sanctioned Tornado Cash, but they really can't do anything other than say don't use it, because once it exists, it's on a subnet and it can't be taken down. You can just say don't use it. And we expect that will happen at some point. But once we're on our own subnet and running there's really nothing anybody can do. Sans like a worldwide EMP.
Yeah, so everybody benefits that participates in our project because of the fees and because of how fast it is, and they're growing, right? So there's a lot of new energy, a lot of new dApps building on there. And right now the NFT volume is off the charts. So a lot of people are transacting NFTs. So that's bringing a whole different class of folks. Metaverse and gamers are now starting to move over and develop on Avalanche. But in addition to that, we actually sat down and met with these folks, and everything that they do, and to me, I felt like all their decisions are based on what can we do to onboard more users, right? So they have the user in mind, and they're thinking about the community, and they were very, very clear with that. But yeah, money, it's not even an issue. Growth, value over time, they don't care. It's all about providing solutions and onboarding more users. How can they do that? And they were very clear with that message. So it was a no-brainer. And if you look at their core wallet and all the functions that has, I mean, that's a next level wallet. To me, that's superior to MetaMask. It's superior to Exodus. It's just an amazing thing that they just released that I would recommend you all take a look at, start using.
All right. So at least you've shared to us on why you choose the Avalanche blockchain for Carbon12 tokens. So thank you so much, guys. Okay. So hopefully all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our podcast right now have enjoyed, our session today. So let's continue. Right now, let's go to the next question. This is one of the most interesting questions, by the way. So could you share some of your achievements from the beginning until now, especially the strategic partners that you have on board?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the strategic partners. Luke mentioned a few, and I have them written down here. So the partners that we've that are committed and on our website right now are X Bible, Reformers, Kingdom Warriors, and LightDAO. And in addition to that, like we were talking about earlier, we launched the Genesis Fund. So we have dozens of folks in line waiting to be a part of that list as well. But we have to screen through them and make sure that they fit our vision and are aligned. I just want to remind everybody out there that everything that we do is God-breathed. From the tokenomics to deciding on what partners are coming on to what we're going to launch first, the timeline, everything is God-breathed. We want to make sure that we're aligned with the kingdom and that we are portraying Jesus Christ according to God's will. So I just want to be clear with that. But in addition to that, we also understand that the community is also high up on that list. So since we started the marketing plan, we created an airdrop. So for all you folks out there, you can go onto our website, carbon12.co, and purchase now, and you can participate in our airdrop. So what you're going to receive is 7% of whatever you purchase in tokens will be given to you after our pre-sale, which is coming up September 7th. In addition to that, we have a couple giveaways through Gleam, and we have a refer a friend promotion, as well as a testimony giveaway that we're doing as well. We've launched a bounty program. Once again, it's all about creating a community and letting folks know that we want to invite them in, test drive our token, hold our token, and just closely watch us. We also have the Genesis Fund, which has been one of the biggest achievements. I mean, that is an opportunity to invite projects and dApps to come alongside our creator, right? We're all on this mission to expand the kingdom. So let's do that together. So those are some of the things that we've have recently launched and announced and are in the works of.
And I would just add to, like, just the partnering and grant thing is huge for us. We believe in this, that a movement of God is coming across the world that's going to just smoke every revival that's happened, and that's been being spoken to a lot of people across the planet. And you know, the head of the body is Jesus, and when he says get up and move, that whole body's going to move, and it's going to be wild. But so unity and partnering is something, I mean, I literally work on it every single day. I was down in another city talking to a big partner. I can't actually wait to announce some of these, but because it's wild. It's humbling actually to be talking to some of the people we're talking to. And then just from a technical perspective, we've got our provisional patents filed. We're working on the utility patents for those. We're very familiar with the intellectual property space at Gravity Jack. We have people you would all know licensing a lot of our patents. And I just feel that's kind of key to protect this technology, not for us, but actually for the future of it. And so that we actually have a hold on just the uniqueness of it, especially as it's driving new people. We want to bring people in with cool tech and like sneak attack them with the gospel and testimony. And so those patents are filed. And then we're actively working on some of the prototyping for hologram, and we're hoping to get something out to the community soon that they can actually play with it and just see just how cool this tech is. Because to be able to record yourself in AR and drop it, even if your window is only a phone right now, it's just it's a capability you could only really do in like $10,000 a minute Microsoft Studios right now, with multiple fixed cameras and some crazy technology. So to be able to do it from a cell phone is pretty fantastic. So that's just the technical aspects.
Okay, so at least you've shared to us, about the achievements that you guys have from the beginning until now, especially the strategic partners that you have mentioned. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so aside from the achievements, I know that there are challenges as well, and we're not exempted from it. So guys, could you share some of the challenges that you and your team are facing nowadays, and how you guys overcome them, especially in during the bear market situation like what we have right now?
Yeah, well, once again, we lean on God for everything on all of our challenges. So the first challenge that I came across and that we've discussed and experienced is opposition. So there's a lot of enemies out there that are looking to decrease what we're trying to do, to minimize the word of God. So anytime we post out some maybe scriptures or some ads that contain Jesus Christ or Christianity, there's definitely some comments there, right? So just opposing forces. However, once again, it's but God. So all we have to do is show our hearts of Jesus Christ, and then it flees every single time. So the second one I would say is startup. We're in a startup. I've been in startup environments and I love it because there's a lot of things going on. Decisions can be made quickly. You see the growth and I'm passionate about helping businesses and companies grow. So I love that. But there also comes a point where there's a lot coming at us, right? So right now we really need the community members to help us. Folks like you reaching out is a blessing. Thank you so much for this. But just being able to take a step back and go, whoa, there's a lot going on right now. First of all, let's be thankful and let's prioritize and bring some balance into our lives. We actually had this conversation the other day and we encouraged each other to go on walks and go to the beach. So, but once again, pressing on to God, God's going to tell us what's a priority. He's also going to expedite all of our tasks. He's going to let us know how to do it, what's first, what's second, what's third. So that's essentially how we've been addressing some of the challenges and the challenges that we're having lately.
Okay. Yes.
Say
go ahead.
If we're just going to get real and we're going to get transparent, which is kind of how I want to be as a person, and we are now too at large as a team. There's been challenges. So Luke and I are on here, and there's two other founders, Carrie and Brandon Millsap, and there's been some challenges that the Lord has brought to us as a team that we've walked through together. And there's been, things that the Lord's just shown a spotlight onto an area of like, hey, relationally, if we're stepping in to Carbon 12 and we're uniting the body of, or wanting to be a part of uniting the body of Christ in different denominations and different groups and people, and coming alongside, what does that really look like? And the Lord has been gracious in the way that he has presented challenges to us to show us areas that we need to be able to walk through and navigate in Christ-like fashion together as founders, to then model that in and throughout Carbon 12 and Forum 12 and what he has for us. And it hasn't been easy, but it's a moment where we stop and it's all right, this something big is happening. We're facing up against a battle here, and we unite together. We worship together, literally blasting worship music so loud that you can't hear my voice for everybody's sake, but praising him and worshiping him together and praying through tears and like revelation and words and visions the Lord has given us. So I would say those are challenges where the enemy tries to attack, and the Lord has just united us and continues to unite us even stronger. And even the fact that it's a bear market, I gotta say, I'm kind of like, it almost makes me laugh in a beautiful way, because again, that's when you know you're serving a big God. When we're able to go into this with a bear market, but if it's the Lord's vision and we're standing behind it and stepping in obedience, irrespective of what's happening in the world, I say bring on the bear market, because that's when the Lord shines. Yeah. Because it's him. We are not, any of us here are not doing anything. And like Sunny said, there's so many times where we just, how do we do challenges as a team? Let's pray. That's why we like to start our meetings with prayer. We end them with prayer. And so let's talk in a year when the bear market continues to go and the Lord shines through.
Yeah, and I just want to say one other thing. Jen, you reminded me of how he also has came through when we have budgeting issues, right? Because we are a startup and we are in the phase where we need to develop and we need to hire, and we're hiring consultants, and we're just doing a lot of different promotions right now, and everything costs money, right? But this is all for the kingdom. So we know that God is going to serve it up every time. All we have to do is press into prayer. And just before, well, Luke had mentioned what our marketing budget was, right? So we put together some numbers in our financial model, and that exact number within a few days, that's the exact number that someone purchased in Carbon 12. So just hallelujah, number. Praise Jesus. Yeah,
yeah, like number for number, he just meets. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much for sharing to us about the challenges that you and your team are facing these days, and how you guys overcome with that. Of course, with just like what you have said, we have a big God, right? Yes, I agree with that. Nice. Okay. So, all right, on to the next question. Now, this is another interesting one, by the way. How do you see yourselves in a few years from now?
So personal, I see us as becoming more and more accepted. I mean, depending on the time frame, but I think within 3 years, like most of Christianity will know about us, and not because of us, but because of the partners that we're pulling in. And there's also this goal to move, once we do the subnet piece, we actually want to do some backing with precious metals. So we're not a fiat system. Just to be straightforward, at first it is a fiat system. Like we have to have some belief and mechanism and financial input, but we want to switch that around very quickly. I mean, God's very clear that all the gold is his everywhere in the whole universe. So we want to be actually like a part of that and actually back Carbon 12 with gold. So that's kind of like one of those hopes is as this kind of transitions, I'm hoping to see us in a few years, but as accepted because of the backing. And I'm sure it's going to make a lot of governments angry. So we'll just see how God handles that.
I was just going to say that, we've got the 3 use cases as of now. We've got the Signet for that wallet and single sign-on, hologram for sharing testimonies in the gospel, and Gridiron again. But we've also collectively seen how, all of us, I'm sure, at our own individual walks, not just, in business and in Carbon 12, but the Lord, he lays things out, but it truly is one day at a time. and he reveals new things. And I think the way that these strategic partnerships are going to evolve the original core of the vision of what he has laid out for us is going to be beautiful. But a few years from now, adoption of Carbon12, mass awareness of Carbon12, and really starting in on gathering the testimonies, and more importantly, protecting these testimonies and the gospel in a huge way and globally. You know, I mean, we want to reach 1 billion souls. America is like, what are we, 350 million? We're not a lot of that big goal. So this is not about the States. It's really about the world at large and reaching the strategic partnerships globally in the next few years. Go ahead.
Amen. Yeah. And my vision is I picture like just picture a C12 symbol, right? Bouncing from business to church, right? To the investor and back, right? And then spreading its wings, its vines to help the church grow, right? Now we're going to start from the inside out and work with churches as partners, and then which eventually will roll over into businesses. Now, I believe these are the numbers, but 2.38 billion Christians in this world, right? And then they are responsible for $1.2 trillion in wealth, right? So I see it as a percentage up front, and then we double that the next year, and then the next year, and then the next year, and then the next year, because we're creating trust, not only through the founders and our testimonies and what we're doing, everything is out there, but also people are starting to transact, and they feel comfortable transacting with businesses that are like-minded, with investors that are like-minded, and everybody's just filling in the trust. And then they see what we're doing to grow the church, right? So that brings more interest, right? Folks want to put their money in something that they feel is safe, but also something that's going towards a good cause. And that's why we created this project, to help grow the church and save 1 billion souls.
All right. So at least you've shared to us on how do you see Carbon12 in a few years from now. So thank you so much. Right now, of course, we're here in our final question for this podcast. Okay. Now, guys, could you give us some reasons on why we should not miss out the opportunity, to grab Carbon12 right now? Like, what is it for us if we're on board with this one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. Or go ahead, Jennifer.
No, go ahead, Sonny.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's always incentives with early investors. You know, Luke and I were talking about certain projects and what they've been able to do over time. You know, I always like to go to Avalanche because I look at them like our big brothers. You know, they gave us some good feedback, and I've been studying their tokenomics and so forth. And you know, it's always good to get in early, right? Before the public launch, right? Because there's potential that, you know, the token could go up in value. That's not why we're here. That's not why we're saying. But what I am saying is if you purchase now, you're able to receive a 7% airdrop on top of your purchase, right? And then, so the incentives decrease. So then we got the pre-sale coming up, which the price goes up. And then we have the public launch, which the price goes up as well. But when you invest early, what we are creating behind the scenes is incentives. Some are going to be surprise incentives, and then some are transparent and upfront. So the earlier that you get in, the more tokens you'll get at a cheaper price. And then, of course, you'll be able to be a part. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you'll be able to be a part.
Yeah, you get to be a part of this growth and the ground level, a community that is about Jesus Christ and that is about expanding the church. So we want to grow together. We really are relying on God, first and foremost, to put it in your guys' hearts to come work with us and come alongside us. But we're here to show you our hearts, that we are in this to expand the kingdom. And we want to invite people to come alongside our Creator as we do this together.
This is an exciting question for me because, you know, my professional career, you're doing software and you're doing mobile apps and you don't get to say what I'm about to say. We're talking to an audience of people where I would say, you know, what is the opportunity or what is the reasons why we shouldn't miss out? Anyone listening, wholeheartedly, just genuinely stop, take a minute and pray. Ask the Father. Ask him, is this something I should be a part of? If yes, how much should I be a part of it? If he gives an amount, when should I be a part of it? How awesome is that that you get to stop and you don't even have to answer that question. He gets to answer it for you. We get to call people to just genuinely pray and be obedient and then watch what he does. That's what I would.
That's good. That's good.
And I would just say too, there's fire. You pour fire on fire, the fire gets hotter. And if you're in our community, let's say you haven't even purchased the token, just being in our community, you are going to get fire poured on you, whether you're an emperor, you're already a fire. And that's like some of the purpose, like why God pulled Jen and I out of just massive amounts of sin, was so that we could reignite some of the older body and like get them like, okay, let's go do this. Like get people re-excited, that love of your youth, or that you remember what it was like to get saved and born again. And there's spiritual blessing that's occurring for our community members right now, regardless of what the token does. That's occurring right now. And it's just awesome. Like we talk about scripture. It's because everybody's aligned. The mission is about harvest, and everything else just kind of falls in place because God's a giving God. He just blesses and blesses and blesses. Trust me, I don't deserve any of the blessing He's given me, and He keeps doing it. I'm like, stop, like slow down. So that would be my answer.
All right. So at least you've shared to us on why we should not miss out the opportunity to grab Carbon12 right now. Okay. So guys, thank you so much. So before we wrap this up, so could you invite our subscribers and the rest of the community who are watching our podcast right now to check out Carbon12?
Yes, please do so. All you have to do is go to carbon12.co, CARBON, the number 12.co. You can sign up for a newsletter there. We have all of our communities there. We just gave our page a makeover. All the information that we talked about today is there. So by the time you go there, we'll have our resources tab that will have everything that you need to know about our promotions and our community.
And read our white papers too, because we've actually received so many compliments from some really awesome people to compliment, just saying they're some of the best they've ever read. And because we've mixed faith into it, it's just, they're highly detailed. And so, I'd say read them. I enjoy being a part of writing them. So.
Yeah, and I do want to say one last thing. Purchase Carbon12. You can go onto the website and purchase it. And you can use your Visa card to purchase as well. And once again, there's going to be a form that you have to fill out. You just have to drop your email or transaction ID, and we'll drop you some airdrops.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for today's podcast. All right, so first things first, we have the co-founders, Luke Ritchie and Jennifer Ritchie, and of course, the marketing director, Mr. Sonny Gonzalez. So behold the Carbon12 team. So guys, thank you so much for your time here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to say thank you to all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our podcast session right now with the Carbon12 team. So I provided all of the source links right here on my YouTube description if you want to learn more about Carbon12. And don't forget to share this to your friends as well. All right, especially for those who needs to be enlightened, regarding Jesus Christ. Yeah. So they should have this kind of big belief if they really need it. Okay. And one more thing, guys, I would like to invite you all to smash the subscribe button, hit like, and turn on the notification bell for more videos, podcasts, and so much more. Okay. So from my freaking home studio, this is Jeff, aka Nomad, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you all for watching. Thank you. Did you enjoy watching this video? If yes, I would like to thank you for this. And if you want to stay updated regarding my latest videos, interviews, and giveaways, just hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And also, you could follow me on my official social media channels. Alright, I guess I'll see you guys on my next video.